What if I told you that you had fat loss all wrong? For as long as you can remember, you wanted to have a hot bod, peace of mind around food choices, and most of all, complete and utter confidence in who you are as a person. Most women have attempted to lose weight. They vow to get disciplined, stay on track, eat clean, but can never hold on to this method long term. Weight loss has always felt like an uphill battle. They begin with a boost of motivation in the first 1 to 3 weeks when the weight begins to drop. But then as soon as it starts to be unenjoyable, which it is, resistance creeps in and then you let everything go and the results don't stay long term. By the end of this video, you will know how to lose weight and enjoy the process. What? Ailish, are you sure? You better stick around because I promise. I'm going to teach you how to prepare for fat loss because I bet you've never thought of doing this before. Then I'm going to teach you how to lose fat optimally. How to keep the fat off. Woo! Don't judge my posture there, thank you very much. How to prepare for fat loss, how to optimize fat loss, and how to keep it off. Let's go. 7 months ago, I was probably at my most unconfident ever. I'd just given birth, best day of my life, but I was stood looking in the mirror after a pregnancy where I gained 26 kilograms, emergency C-section. Obviously, if you've had a baby before, you know the puffiness, the swelling that comes along with the end of pregnancy. And I'm stood in the mirror after a surgery, drugs in my body, all that kind of thing. And I'm literally like, who the hell is she? Like, who is looking back at me? Because I do not recognize her. I had always been a very lean, 60 kilograms kind of girl. I'd never had a lot of weight on my body before. So to be the heaviest I'd ever been, postpartum, it was confronting. I'm not going to lie, like it was a really, really weird, difficult, uncomfortable time to be in my brain. As a little bit of a background, I spent 8 months trying to conceive, me and my partner did, and I found that really emotionally difficult because obviously anyone who's tried to conceive before, if it hasn't happened straight away, it's hard. Like you have such highs and lows every single month, and I resorted to emotional eating. So I had a little bit of like, my relationship with food was a tiny little bit strained. I didn't particularly gain any weight, but like my relationship with food was a little bit strained from those 8 months because I was relying on food to help when my whole life felt like it was falling apart every single month when I wasn't pregnant. Then when I was pregnant, I had the world's most insatiable hunger ever. And it makes sense because my baby right now, she's a hungry goose. She'll scream if you're eating and you don't give her some of your food, which is very funny. But during pregnancy, I could eat like 3 main meals off the bat. Like I could not, I was just so hungry all the time. And because of this strained relationship with food and because of this hunger, I put no rules on food. I was like, for this pregnancy, girl, do what you gotta do. We'll see, we'll get there when we'll get there, right? I trusted myself and I knew that at the end of it, I just wanted to have a good relationship with food and I could lose fat. I know how to lose fat. Like my body will get bigger and it can get smaller again. It's fine. So obviously I'm glad that I did that because we're here now. But I was having a really big like existential identity crisis at that moment, looking in the mirror after giving birth. As I was stood looking in the mirror, I knew that I wanted to look like this or better. I knew I wanted to be leaner. Like I knew that I wanted to be strong, capable, confident. Like I knew how I wanted to look. That's not how I looked and that's not how I felt at the time. But in my mind, I was like, you can do this, okay? And that's what I did, right? So this is what we're gonna do to prepare for fat loss. Right then in that moment, that was what made me say, hey girl, let's do it out of love and health. Like something needs to change. It wasn't out of self-hatred. It wasn't because I didn't love myself. It's because I did love myself and I wanted myself to feel really good. I was in a really difficult position and I knew that following these steps would be good for my brain and be good for me and what I wanted long term. So we have to do 3 things. We need to visualize. Then we need to have a look at the timeline that we are following. And then after the timeline, we are going to have to go into priming. Okay, so first of all, visualization. You need to know where you're going. It doesn't matter where you are right now, but you need to know where you're going. You need to have a direction because where you are right now doesn't really matter at all in the slightest. Where I was cut open, emergency C-section, didn't know that I was going to be there. And I, like I said, had gained all this weight, existential crisis. Like, it was the weirdest I've ever felt in my life. That's okay. I looked at myself. I didn't know who she was, but I thought, where can I go? Now, I've never met this version of myself before. I've never met myself as a mom. I've never met myself as a fit mom. I've never met myself as a mom with a body that didn't look like this. But what's she like? And I knew that visualizing, she stuck to her word. These will be different for you, right? These are what mine were for me, but I'm going to give you some ideas so that perhaps you could get a pen. I don't know. I'm not telling you to do anything right now. You can just sit and watch if you would like. And actually, while I'm chatting to you, I am getting me, don't judge here, okay? I am getting my nails redone this afternoon. But do you know when they just start peeling off? I feel shameful. I feel shameful. So anyways, perhaps make your own notes, but I'm going to do mine. So I like visualizing, I'm like a happy mom. Like, I was like, I want to be happy. An important thing to me is that I want to be happy, and I want to be happy to me baby, and I want to enjoy being a mom. Another thing, lean. I don't want this fat on my bod. I want to be lean. That's okay, right? I want to be strong, of course, because I don't know about you, but kids are heavy. Holy guacamole, let me tell you. And they've got so much energy. So I was like, I need to be strong. And also, like, with that, we need to have endurance. Because, like I said, running around after kids, it takes it out of you. So I was visualizing all these different things. Like, I am good with food. Like, I'm organized with my diet. Because obviously when you've got a kid, you're feeding yourself and you're feeding your kid eventually when they're a year old too. I'm thinking about all these things. Like, I'm visualizing this. So 7 months ago, I was visualizing what I'm doing right now, not what I was doing. Because right then, I was eating my scrambled eggs that the hospital give us. I was lying there eating a croissant that I got delivered to the hospital room. Like, I wasn't doing that, but I was like, right, who are you? Like, what are you doing? How do you act? How do you feel? So it's really important that we have something that is going to draw us towards where we're going to be, because we're not there right now in that moment. So first of all, we're going to visualize. Next, we need a timeline, because without a timeline, there is no push. There is no deadline. There is no reason really to move forward, because if you've got no deadline, you're just going to continually push off and push off. There is, I think it's called Parkinson's law. Like, time will expand to give, like, a task will expand to the time that you give it. If you give yourself a date, look at me, dun, 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 dun. If you give yourself 1 day to do a task, you'll do it in 1 day. If you give yourself a month, you'll do it in a month, right? So we need a timeline. It's important that the timeline's realistic. But I'm going to tell you what my timeline was. My timeline was, well, first of all, it was prime. Then it was fat loss. Then it was maintenance. And then it was fat loss. Maintenance, fat loss, okay. So in here, I'm going to pop a little asterisk, because basically, to lose fat, you need to prime. That's what we're going to go in. How to prepare for fat loss. We need to prime. That's very important. That's what we're going through next. So you need to give yourself time to get in the right mindset and time to get consistent enough that when you lose weight, it's actually going to happen. So give yourself a window. The priming window for me was 4 to 12 weeks. Because I'd just had an emergency C-section. I had no fucking idea. Actually, scrap that. I'm lying to you. I didn't even prime. Personally, I survived. Can I find it? 2 seconds. I'm lying to you straight up. I missed out a step. I'm sorry, but I mean, if you're postpartum, this is probably going to be relevant, but if you're not postpartum, then it's not. Okay, so I first of all survived. That was my goal. So if I'm going to pop it in a little time frame, survive, prime, fat loss, maintain. That is the timeline. That's the timeline that we're following. Notice that there's no dates on that, because it doesn't really matter. So I give myself 4 to 12 weeks to survive, because I was postpartum after an emergency C-section, and I had no idea how the hell to deal with that. That was completely new to me. So I didn't want to put any pressure on myself and say, okay, right, in 2 weeks, you're going to be ready. I didn't know. So I gave myself a big window, just because the short end of the window, maybe it's fine, maybe it's easy. The long end, I'm not feeling like under the cosh. I'm not feeling stressed because I'm 6 weeks in and I'm not where I want to be. So I survived. And what I did to survive was get ready in the morning, drink 2 liters of water, stand outside for a minute, do some core rehab. And then these are 2 little 2-minute movement blocks because I had a C-section. I got up 8 times a day for 2 minutes to just like walk around and get the blood flowing. Obviously, as you can see, this is crazy intense. Like, so when we start, it's not supposed to be, you're not supposed to dive in at the deep end. You're not supposed to restrict. We promote health first, okay? So this was my survival checklist. Now we're going to priming, which is probably where you're gonna start, okay? So when we get to the priming, these are all, we're back to front, we're forward to back. It's okay, it'll all make sense. Once we're primed, then we go into our fat loss. But what does priming look like? Let me tell you. Well, we need to get consistent with sleep, stress, nutrition, and overall consistency. Because like I said, we can't just go and lose weight straight away. We need to make sure that our body is in the right frame of mind. What I mean by that is, if you're currently in a bad routine, you aren't eating well, you aren't exercising, your internal self-talk is bad, and you're like, right, okay, as of tomorrow, I'm gonna go to the gym 4 times, I'm gonna do it all, I am gonna restrict calories, I'm gonna stick to it, I'm gonna be motivated. It's not going to work, because it just makes no sense. That is a crazy leap for your brain to make, and you it's like a lottery ticket every time. Some people do well with the whole 75 hard thing, such a small amount of people, but you need to prepare before you actually push yourself, because fat loss isn't just about restriction. Fat loss is about your body like functioning optimally, because your body doesn't want to lose fat. Fat is fucking fantastic. It helps your body survive. So if you're not healthy and you're not treating your body healthily, it's kind of in a little bit of a, right, I need to survive, I'm going to hold on to my fat kind of mode. Whereas if you're in optimal health, if you're feeling good, it's like, okay, I'll use my fat as an energy source and I'll get lean. Okay, I'll do that for you. We need to treat our bodies well for fat to come off easily. So priming is getting your sleep in a good place. This means looking like 7 to 8 plus hours of sleep, and you're like, oh my God, you had a newborn. How did you do that? I literally spent 10 to 11 hours in bed every single night. I didn't watch telly. I literally just hoped that I'd get about that, and I did. I spent most of the night asleep. If you don't have kids, you need sleep. Sleep's where your body recovers. It's where everything good happens. Sleep is the foundation of your health. It's the foundation of your fat loss. Stress management, like if you get really easily stressed, if something comes up and it totally throws your plan off track, if you emotional eat, if anything stress related causes you to not stick to what you need to do to stay consistent, that needs to be addressed before, because you cannot just grind it out with a calorie. A calorie deficit is never going to fix that. So we need to have really good stress management. Like we need to be able to handle things that come up in life. Next, we need to have a look at our nutrition. Now, this isn't a calorie deficit. This is organization. So we need to be organized, because we want peace of mind with food, and we need to have a schedule as well. So sorry, that's the same thing. Lol, what I meant by schedule was actually we need to have like meals. Like we need to understand what meals work for us. Now, you might be somebody who cooks every meal from scratch. Good for you. You might be a meal prepper like me. It doesn't matter. Everyone eats differently, and so you basically need to find what works for you and have these reliable, healthy, balanced meals that you are organized with, so that it doesn't really, like, you kind of know what's coming up. You might have plans, you might have spontaneous stuff, you might have whatever it may be. You've got your baseline planned meals that you know are good for you coming up every week. It gives you peace of mind. When you're consistent in that and in your training, your strength training, boom, boom, boom. I'm just going to tick them all just for a lovely little bit of added effect. Once we're consistent, we are primed and we are ready to lose fat. Do, 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 do. going back to the timeline, I had that survival. So you need your survival stage. Let's say give it, I did 4 to 12 weeks. Prime, I gave it the same 4 to 12 weeks. Fat loss, I give it the same 4 to 12 weeks. This might be different to you, okay? But I was just, because I was postpartum, I was like, girl, let's chill. But I was being realistic. And then again, maintenance, 4 to 6 weeks between fat loss phases, because we need a couple of them. So we're going to go between fat loss and maintenance. But a timeline needs to have some, it doesn't need to be like, right, as of the 1st of the next month, this needs to happen. It's just some kind of direction that we can kind of stay on track with. Just for a little special bonus, this is my priming checklist, and it had a step goal on it: 7,000 steps, 8,000, 8,000, 8,000, a workout, 2-hour work block, because you know your girl was getting back into work, read 10 pages of a book, take my supplements, take my water, go outside. So prime it again, like I said, is this restrictive? No, restriction is dumb. But anyways, right, we're done. We are prepared. I hope that you feel prepared. Are we prepared? Now I've actually lost a lot. Do you know what? I'm going to change color pens just because, like, why not? Like, let's go for it. I'm going to use green and blue now, but I'm going to hold them. I've lost a lot of my shape in the past couple of years. In the past 2 years, with pregnancy, I stopped strength training as much. And I was active. I stayed active with cardio. I stayed active with circuits, but I was neglecting my arms, my shoulders, my legs, everything. I've lost muscle, okay? And because of that, like, I can tell that my muscles are smaller. I neglected maintenance and strength training. Obviously, during pregnancy and postpartum, like, you're not really in the place to build muscle because your body is getting depleted for what it needs to do. Pregnancy and then breastfeeding, the body, it's pretty depleted of lots of things. So I have noticed that my muscle mass has went down due to all of those factors over the past couple of years. But my best physique was when I was absolutely tiny. Look at her, I'm gonna pop her up on the screen. I had so much more muscle there than I do now. Is that not crazy, even though I'm bigger? And I'm just gonna compare the two here. I used to spend hours in the gym. Like, when I started, I've been in the gym for 2+ hours doing 10 sets of fucking glutes. What was that all about? Wanting to really feel the burn. Like, I was just training stupidly hard, putting in loads of effort to try and build muscle. I was doing kickbacks, all of that kind of thing. I didn't want to be skinny fat. I wanted to have muscle, so I kind of wanted to grow my glutes, and I felt like I was doing the most, which I was, to be honest. My goal then was to be snatched to the gods. It was to be lean. It was to have that kind of X-shaped figure, tiny waist, big bum, wide shoulders, so that you just hourglass gorgeousness. That was my goal. Everything I knew about muscle growth was wrong. I was trying to build muscle in a deficit, first of all, which, if you are starting from a small frame, if you don't have too much fat to lose, like 5 to 10 kilograms, trying to build an extensive amount of muscle so that you genuinely change your shape and you are literally like, you're peeled. When you have low fat, like, you are looking like you've got the Pilates arms kind of vibe, right? You need, like, if you're lean and you don't have a lot of weight to lose, if you're already quite small, that's not going to work. You're not going to be able to build enough muscle. However, if you've got a bit more weight to lose, if you're in the like 10, 20, 30 kind of kilogram range, you can definitely build muscle on the way. It's going to make a big difference. Then you're probably going to have to, but anyways, as the whole point of me mentioning that was to say, muscle's really important in terms of fat loss. I was trying to feel the burn. I wasn't progressively overloading, and I was scared of gaining fat in the pursuit of a better body. I didn't see things in stages. I just assumed work end result. I didn't think about the fact that we have different markers along the way. Let me just paint you a picture. When you go on holiday, it's not just, you don't just like click your fingers and end up on the beach, which would be nice. It's a taxi to the airport. You go through security. You sit in the lounge, or you sit in with a coffee in a shop. Then you get on the plane goes. Then you get off the plane. You go through passport control. You get another bus. There are multiple stages to that journey that you need to go through to get to the destination. So you don't just click your fingers and have fat loss. You have to go through every single stage, whether that means your body looks better perceptively or worse perceptively because you've got to gain some weight or lose some weight or build some muscle. It's very confusing, but here I'm gonna unconfuse it for you. I've just found that I can put the cap on like that and it looks quite nice. So I've actually just wrote this and now you're here with us. This is how to lose fat optimally. Very exciting. So you want to lose around 0.5 to 1% of your body weight per week. If you're 100 kilograms, that looks like half a kilogram to 1 kilogram. If you're 70 kilograms, that looks like 350 grams to 700 grams per week. That is the range where you're going to maximize fat loss and minimize muscle wastage. If you are going 2 to 3% of your body weight per week, that's water and that's muscle mass. Lose muscle mass, lose definition. You don't want to be skinny fat, you want to be lean and toned. So we're looking like half a kilogram to a kilogram per week at 100 kilograms. And if we're at 70, like I said, it's up to 0.7 kilograms per week. So work that out in terms of how much you want to lose. So if you want to lose 10 kilograms, I'm just going to use me. So I was 69.85 kilograms at the start of my first fat loss phase. So I primed, I got to fat loss phase 1, and I was like, okay, I want to lose half a kilogram a week over 10 weeks. Well, it was 9 weeks until I went home. So I was like, I want to lose 5 kilograms. So it was realistic. I knew I could do it. I went into a deficit enough to lose what ended up being half a kilogram a week for 8 weeks. And then I lost my 5 kilograms. At that whole time, I was progressively overloading. I lifted heavier every single week. First of all, this maintains your muscle and builds muscle. So I probably lost more fat and gained some muscle. In that 5 kilograms, it might have been 6 kilograms of fat loss, 1 kilogram of muscle building. That's the change that could have happened. Like your body recompositions at the same time. So it might not sound like a lot, oh, only 5 kilograms, but actually there's a lot more going on underneath that. So basically, we'll progressively overload 1 so that we can build muscle. And then 2, to burn more energy. If you're starting off only lifting like 30 kilograms a week, then you go lifting 50 kilograms by the end, that takes more energy. So the heavier you lift, the more energy you burn, which helps increase your calorie deficit, which helps just get the progress going. So I did that, lost 5 kilograms in 10 weeks. Then I had a refuel. Why did I spell refuel incorrectly? Sorry team, I am actually really good at spelling, I promise. But we need to go in and refuel and maintain. But you're like, Ailish, I just want to lose the weight so fast. Tough shit, right? Because if you continued to be in this, what happens is your total daily energy expenditure decreases and decreases because your body's like, okay, I'm in a deficit now. Where can I draw this? Okay, this is your body. And she's in a deficit now. Can you see that sad face? Right? So she's like, oh, I'm not getting a lot of energy. I'm not getting fed a lot of energy. I'm going to go into survival mode and I'm just going to make myself more efficient so I don't need as much energy to work. So essentially what happens is your basal metabolic rate lowers and you don't realize this, but you've got less energy because you're not feeding yourself a lot. So your your NEAT and your exercise activity thermogenics, you're not able to continue progressively overloading. Like your workouts feel weak. You feel more lethargic, you feel more tired because your body is weak because it's not being fueled. So if you continue to do that, you keep tapering down and tapering down. You started off at 2,000 calories in your deficit and you ended up at 1,000 calories. So what we do is we'll get that 5 kilograms, 5 to 10 kilograms, then we go into a refuel stage. In the refuel stage, what we are doing is we are eating as much as possible. Your maintenance is actually like a range. Your maintenance could be 2,000 calories, but that could be plus or minus like 200. So you could eat 2,200 calories and not gain weight. And you could eat 1,800 calories and not lose weight. Because it's not like if you eat 1 calorie over the number, your body doesn't just change. Your body likes homeostasis, which is why I said, if you're in a deficit for a long time, your body gets used to that. So it wants to come to homeostasis because it doesn't want to lose weight. It wants to stay healthy. It wants to survive. So when you get to the end of your first deficit, you want to be at the top of your maintenance. You want to eat, you want to refuel as much as possible. You want to build your calories up so much without gaining weight. You want to get to the point where your weight starts to go like a tiny bit up, half a kilogram, and then you're like, cool, right, let's stay here. Once you stay there for 2 to 4 weeks, or like 4 to 6 weeks, you could stay there for 5 months, it doesn't really matter, but I'd say like 4 weeks would probably be ideal. Your body, she's back up again. She is, let's do this in green. She's like, yay, I am fueled and I am ready to go. We love that, that's so nice. Then you can just drop back into a fat loss phase and lose another 5 kilograms. So this is what I have just done. I lost 5 kilograms in 9 weeks. I maintained over Christmas. My body weight went up 3 kilograms because it was a different scale. I was eating loads of takeaways. Water weight, my digestive system did slow down as well, so that plays a part too. And then that dropped straight away as soon as I got back. So I didn't gain any weight. I totally maintained because I stayed consistent even in a different place. I've been back for 4 weeks now and I've lost 3 kilograms. So I'm just going to repeat this cycle until I get where I want to be. Gorgeous. Thank you, everybody. Now, I love a drink. I love a takeaway. I love a fancy meal. I love food. I am honestly the biggest foodie. It's the biggest joy in my life. It's truly up there with one of my main priorities in the whole wide world. I love going to different business lunches and trying fancy food. I love going to coffee shops. I love baking. I love making homemade pasta. Like, I love food and flavor and trying new things. Like, food is, and food always has been, a humongous part of my life. Like, it's a big part of who I am as a person. It's a big part of my identity, right? I love food. I don't know if I'm going to get arrested for telling you this, but I'm going to tell you anyway. Okay, so when I was younger, my mom used to give us bus money and I would use yesterday's ticket. I'd buy one ticket and then I'd use it for as long as the bus drivers didn't cotton on, and I would just keep, so basically I went on the bus with an old ticket pretending it was the ticket for that day that I'd got like earlier, and it worked. I don't know, it was the scholars, and I saved up that money and I used the money to buy a big bar of chocolate that I ate when I got to school. So I'd eat like a family size chocolate bar every single morning in school. Around this time, I also had like big bottles of Lucozade, big share bags of Doritos. Like, I ate a lot of ultra high processed food with this pocket money that I like swindled. Obviously, that was quite unhealthy. And when I found out how to lose weight, calorie deficit, 1,000 calories, I completely swung the other way. Took cucumbers into school as a healthy snack because they are 0 calories, more or less. Then I also picked out 8 mini Weetabix as a snack because I think it came to like 50 calories. I was like, you know, this'll do. So at the time, it felt like a no-brainer. Cut out those foods, eat 0 calorie foods and lose fat. Like that, it feels like a no-brainer. And I'm sure that you're the same. I've just realized that you can also put these, so I'm having such a fun time. Do you know, joy number 1 in my life is food. Joy number 2 in my life is stationery. But getting back to it, obviously, as you can imagine, that didn't work and it strained my relationship with food, obviously, because I was I put all of these foods out of my life. I love those foods and I'm sure that you do too. Now, I'm gonna just have to have some interesting form here. I'm gonna have to figure out how to not make this awkward in the future, but if you could, I'm just gonna show you what I look like off camera, but it's kind of like this. But you can't see, you can just see us typing. So how are we gonna keep the fat off, okay? Well, this is just descending into chaos. Maybe I'll squat and you can just see the top of my head. Right, team, it's fine. I'll write these things first. How we are gonna keep the fat off is 1, what our life looks like. This is important to have in place before we even start the fat loss. And 2, prioritizing. Do you know, it's really fucking hard to write and speak at the same time. Prioritizing what you love. Okay, so basically, when we go back to the bit, it all links up. Wait, I'm gonna bring you back up. Sorry, let's get up here. Thank you, everybody. It all links back together. When you start and you visualize, you are thinking, I want to be happy. I want to be lean, strong, organized, whatever. You need to think about what your life is going to look like afterwards, because what you do to lose weight needs to be what you do to maintain the weight loss. So if you are eating cucumbers and 8 mini Weetabix, tell me, is that what you want your life to look like? Because if it is, that's fine. But for me, it's not. For me, it's a little bit like chocolate. It's a little bit like wine. It's pastries. It's about eating food that I love. So if I can't do that on the journey, I'm probably not going to be able to do that, like, to keep me results. So it's really important that you understand what your life is gonna needs to look like, what you actually enjoy, what you prioritize. So that leads into prioritizing what you love. For me, I can go without Doritos. I like them, you know. I can go without cinema popcorn. Takeaways, I don't mind them every so often, but I mean, there was a point in time where I would have multiple takeaways a week. But, you know, I can have them like once a month, once every 2 months, or whatever it may be. Chocolate, that's daily. If I don't, and you know what? I could change that if I wanted to. It's like the personality trait that I'm like obsessed with chocolate. And until that doesn't become, like, until I don't like that anymore, I'm not changing it. I like it. Coffee, chocolate, and that's pretty much it. Those are my non-negotiables. My life is pointless without them, right? So they need to get prioritized in my diet. I'm always going to need to have 200 to 300 calories per day dedicated to them things, because that's literally what I love and that's what I enjoy. So when it comes to how to keep the fat off, think about what you can't live without, what you don't want to live without. Is it the wine? Is it the takeaway? Is it the Doritos? And we need to figure out how that's going to get prioritized, and we build a healthy lifestyle around that. I feel not a shred of guilt at all about having these things in my diet, because I get all of my fiber a day. I get 30 grams of fiber. I get 140 grams of like, my diet, I have all the superfoods. My diet is very optimal. So if we just add a little bit, 200 to 300 calories a day of chocolate and iced lattes, pastry, maybe some days it's 700 calories, because I need to have a pan au chocolat, that's fine, because the rest of my life around it is designed for that to be enjoyable. So that's it. That's how to prepare for fat loss, how to lose it optimally, and how to keep it off. Yes. Now you have all of the tools to transform your body and mind in 6 months. Like, this is step by step exactly what you need to do to, like myself, have lost 11.7 kilograms, look different, think different, feel different, be different in 6 months. Now, if you are somebody who has tried to lose fat before and it's not worked, and you kept coming into the same invisible barrier that you don't even realize, watch this video. I don't know where I'm putting it. It's in one of these corners. I think I'll put it in this corner. It is about the subconscious block that is stopping you from being consistent, even though you desperately want to stay consistent. Very exciting. And yeah, that's it from me, really. Thank you. I've really enjoyed myself. This is about a decade of value distilled into one video. You're gonna seize around, because I'm not gonna lie, I like this flip chart, and these are all my pens. I'll show you them before you go. It's a strange color combination. This purple is actually pink. But yeah, so see you in the next one.